thanks for tuning in to our channel. Today's another episode of ItsAllGoodca. Today we're going to be making my dirty lasagna. It's got lots of great veggies, lots of flavor, and most importantly, lots of cheese. It's definitely a family favorite in our house for sure. So the first thing we're going to do, if you've ever watched any of my videos, I'm a big believer in sauteing all the veggies before you pop it into whatever recipe you're making. I think the flavor just ends up being better. It probably cooks everything faster, and it just tastes nicer with the finished product. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get a green pepper. I chop things up into little tiny pieces to try to trick my family from knowing that there's any vegetables in the recipe. So we're basically going to cut the green pepper into strips, and then we're going to cut it into small chunks and put that in a bowl and put that aside. Next, I take just, the carton of mushrooms that you can get in the grocery store, the square little carton, and basically chop those up nice and fine as well into little pieces, and we're going to put those aside. I like to use the big yellow sweet onion in all of my cooking. I think it just adds a nicer flavor. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to dice up the onion. Again, the whole point, little pieces. Trick your family, no veggies, and it just makes everybody a little happier when they're eating the final product. While we're dicing everything up, you can also get a pan on the stove, and I put it to about medium heat. Once it's nice and hot, next thing we're going to do is we're going to brown the beef. So I just use a small package of lean ground beef, probably about a pound, I would guess. And we're going to put that into our pan and break it up. Bizarrely, I find that using a spoon and a fork actually breaks up the meat nice and easy. Just started doing that in the last little while. I think I saw it somewhere, and it actually works pretty fabulously. So we're going to break up the beef, and next what we're going to do is we're going to season the meat. I just do a little bit of salt, do some pepper to your own tasting. It's a lot easier to add salt later, so it's kind of nice to add less salt in the beginning and then taste it as you go. It's hard to take out the salt if you douse it at first. Next thing I like to do is put in a pretty good chunk of garlic powder and onion powder. As you can see, I'm pretty liberal in all my recipes. Those are two of my main ingredients, I find. If you haven't gotten enough garlic already with the huge amount that you've doused your meat with, I also like to get some cloves of real garlic and also add those, break those up, and I think I probably used about 3 cloves of garlic, and just press that in with our garlic press. Once your meat is browned and looking good, it's time to add our veggies. So we're going to add the green pepper and the mushroom and the onion to this mixture with the beef. And we're going to let everything nicely cook down and start getting really juicy in that pan as well. Once we add the veggies to the pan with the beef, I'm going to add a little bit more salt, a little bit more pepper, obviously to your own taste. And you guessed it, more garlic powder, more onion powder. Definitely adds more flavor to your mixture for sure. As I'm mixing all the veggies in, you can see I've got a little friend behind me who is dying to get a taste of what we're cooking. We're going to mix everything together, and then I'm going to put a lid on the pot and cook it down for about 5 minutes or so. I stir it all the time, obviously, make sure nothing's burning. And when everything looks nice and soft and juicy in there, we're going to just take it off the heat for a moment until our next step. Next, we're going to pour that mixture from our frying pan into a larger pot. We're going to make the tomato sauce base for the lasagna. Basically, you can use any kind of tomato sauce that you like. I use one that's got extra Parmesan cheese and garlic and olive oil, but you can really use whatever is your favorite. So I use a whole bottle of it, pour that in. We're gonna mix everything around and cook it down for a little bit. Next, we're gonna start making the cheese mixture for our lasagna. A quarter of a cup of Parmesan cheese mixed in with that as well. We're gonna mix that Parmesan cheese and cottage cheese around together, get everything all nice and mixed. I usually add 1 egg to this mixture. You can add 2 if you like, but I don't like it to taste eggy. We just want enough egg in there to help kind of bind things as we use it in the lasagna. So that is up to you if you want to use 1 or 2 eggs. Once you've got that mixture all nice and mixed, I add a little bit of probably a tablespoonful of oregano, tablespoonful of basil, however you like to say it. Probably 2 tablespoons full of, let's take that back to 1 tablespoonful of garlic powder, 1 tablespoonful of onion powder, and a little bit of salt and pepper. And we're going to mix that mixture up so everything is nice and blended. Next, we're going to get our baking pan out. I usually like a casserole dish, which has got fairly tall sides, because as you go along here, you'll see that this lasagna is pretty thick. This is actually a smaller version of the one I usually make. I usually make one in a great big roaster, like the tinfoil kind you can get from the grocery store. And I call my normal lasagna like my 7 Mile High lasagna. This one's going to be about half as thick, so probably a 9 by 5 casserole dish will do it. You can use whatever pasta that you like. I just happen to really like the gluten-free, Catelli gluten-free lasagna sheets, because you don't actually have to boil them first. I've never been good at boiling them and making my lasagna actually put together, so these ones are great. You can just spread out your meat mixture, put on a layer of these sheets of lasagna sheets, and then you can start doing a layer of your cottage cheese on top. I generally like to do the sides first. As you can see, I usually go around the perimeter, and then I try to fill in the middle, and that just kind of keeps everything kind of sealed as you're making your layers. As you can see, I have another little friend behind me who is circling, trying to get a taste of what we're cooking today. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to do another layer of the meat and tomato sauce mixture over top of the cottage cheese. Next, we're going to do a layer of cheese. So it's really up to you what you want to do. I like to use the 1 whole thing of mozzarella, like a bag of shredded mozza. Then there's a bag that I like at the grocery store that's got a 3 cheese blend. I think there's Asiago, and you can see it might even be an Italian cheese blend. So I like to use that one. I think it just has a little bit more flavor. We're going to do another layer of the lasagna sheets over top of the cheese. And we're getting close to the end here, almost ready to put this baby in the oven. Just a few more steps. You'll find at the end you may need to break off some of the sheets just to get everything to fit. We're going to try to squeeze in here another layer of the cottage cheese. Getting near the end, so we're going to do one last layer here. Actually, sorry, that's a lie. Second last layer of the tomato sauce. I'm going to put that over top of our cottage cheese mixture. It's up to you when you're making the cottage cheese mixture if you want to add some of this shredded cheese blend to your cottage cheese mixture, you're more than welcome. Obviously, it's not going to spread as well. So I tend to not add a lot of shredded cheese to my cottage cheese mixture just because I do want to get more out of it since I make so many layers to my lasagna, but that's up to you. You can add more cheese to this as you go, as you like. We're going to do another layer of cheese over top of that last pasta layer. And then we're ready to put this baby in the oven. Very last layer lasagna sheets here. We're going to add the little bit of tomato sauce and meat sauce that we have left. As you can tell, I'm running out here, so I'm going to try to make this spread as much as I can. I'm going to put that last layer on. It just makes the lasagna sheets obviously cook and not be hard when you take the thing out of the oven. Next, we're going to finish it off with an ungodly amount of cheese on the top. The toothpicks will help the tinfoil not adhere to your cheese. You can do it that way, or you can just keep a closer eye on it and say screw the tinfoil and pop it in the oven as is. You just got to keep checking it because you don't want the top cheese to burn. As you can tell, I decided to say no tinfoil. Now this is what it looks like once we pull it out of the oven. So I would keep it in the oven for about 60 minutes, but literally like I'd be checking it every 15 to make sure that your cheese isn't burning. I do think having it on that lower rack is going to really help you. Once you pull it out of the oven here, you may want to let it sit for a little bit because you're going to see one of the nice parts about this lasagna is it's really, really juicy. So when you first take it out, you may actually want to let it sit for like 15-20 minutes just to kind of let the juices settle. Once you're ready to serve, obviously you can cut the pieces as big or small as you like, and just make sure you've got a plate nearby because when you're transferring this from the pan to the plate, you're going to get drips. So just watch out for that, and also remember that the inside of the lasagna is probably still really, really hot. So if you get tempted to take a bite when you pull it out of the oven too soon, you may end up burning your mouth. As you can see, pulling this out, there are many layers to this lasagna, and it's filthy, but it will be worth all your time and effort, and your family will absolutely love it. Tons of cheese, tons of veggies, tons of flavor, and definitely something worth whipping up this weekend or even on a weeknight, but I find it takes so long to make this that it's usually something I cook on a weekend. So enjoy. Thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate your support, appreciate your time, and I hope you try to make this for your family. Have a great day.
Mm-hmm.